Let's talk about this retail numbers that showed about $800 million was not spent this December as previous December. Interestingly, on top of that, as I mentioned in the thing as well, that in the December unemployment numbers, it was 109,000 people that lost full-time jobs. The reason the overall loss was 60,000 was because there was a jump in casual part-time, the expectation being that's people getting their summer jobs, all the rest of it. So presumably that falls away. So what does that mean for the Reserve Bank? Because you have been very aggressive that the last two increases were unnecessary.
Absolutely.
Economists from multiple banks say, don't expect the cut. We're sort of done with the rises, though. We'll probably stick with this for a little while.
Well, 2 months ago, they were saying there were still more rises to come.
Yeah.
So let's be clear.
So you think it should come back down?
Absolutely. That October rate rise, that last one, was just a humiliation for Michelle Bullock and the Reserve Bank. They have sent the economy into free fall. I mean, those numbers you've just quoted demonstrate that it is time for Michelle Bullock to eat humble pie and reduce interest rates by at least 1/4 point. So no question, that's what the Reserve Bank should do. I think she'll want to still play tough. I mean, she plays to the 12, bank economists. She thinks that's her job. I've got to keep those 12 bank economists happy and not care a stuff about what the
But isn't Chalmers rigging it with a new group of people that are going to decide it?
Thank you for reminding me that she's actually been sacked as the Oracle. They're actually putting in a whole new bunch of people.
Yeah. Can you imagine how that's going to go?
Greg Combay gets another job.
Nicola Roxon.
How many jobs can Greg Combay have now?
We only need to go to all the superannuation funds and let's just pick all the Labor former ministers who were chairs there.
Peter Collins, one of yours.
One.
Wow, over-representation.
But do you think that the Reserve Bank, when it looks at this, I mean, the reality is that it was meant to tighten to start to get everyone to pull back. With job losses and people not spending money is starting to show the turn down. Now, whether they respond to that quickly or whether they respond to that in a couple of months' time is quite material. Not a person watching right now wouldn't want a cut, but I don't know that the Reserve Bank's going to want to reverse what they did in the next month, but we'll see.
Well, look, we've been in a per capita recession.
Correct.
Regardless of how Albanese wants to spin this and his government, we have been in a per capita recession for quite a few months now, and it's only been immigration figures that are boosting those figures out of recession numbers by a hair. Yeah. And the thing is, there are still a lot of price impacts to come. What's been happening with gas prices, what's been happening in the transport industry, the industrial relations changes that are coming, all of those are going to increase prices. So we are going to still see more and more pressures coming onto cost of living pressures onto Australian families. And then if you start looking, the Labor government in New South Wales has taken away the school support, the vouchers that were going to families that helped with back to school costs. 6:30 tonight, my 16-year-old daughter, starts school tomorrow, new school. I think I might have actually thrown my school shoes out a couple of months ago.
Okay.
I could have done with a late night school shopping open tonight. But, those vouchers, those things helped every family with cost of living pressures with those textbooks, school bags, school shoes, all of those sorts of things that need to be put in place. And they've been removed in New South Wales by this government. So these pressures are going to keep coming. I don't know what the Reserve Bank's going to do. We were told Philip Lowe was the devil. Michelle Bullock was a Chalmers pick.
Now it's the deputy devil.
Now she's being demonised and we're getting a whole new group. Who knows what's going on, who's going to be pulling the levers. As you say, could be Greg Combay. Wayne Swan seems to be a favourite.
That was a joke, not a prediction.
No.
Wayne
Swan, the greatest treasurer of all time. He might be coming back to pull the levers. Who knows? And if that happens, well, we may as well all just pack up and move into a treehouse.
But again, right, so the fine line here was, and one of the things we were hearing last week about tax cuts was it's not going to be inflationary. Now, I think that's because it's 4/5 of bugger all and it's $15 a week.
$15 a week.
It's not really enough to move the needle.
10% of the money you've lost getting back.
But they argued when the $1,500 was removed, and it was a joint party position, but as I've said all the way through, we all know who would have been screaming and who I would have been screaming too. If it was a different government, I think we would have got a different result. Anyway. But so there's this fine line about how much money you can get out there. So does the economy require a certain amount of pain until it's absolutely clear that we're not going back with inflation.
Well, that's the Reserve Bank
That's their
governor's position.
Right.
She will sit there and play to 12 market economists.
2 to 3%, not 4.5%, which it is now.
So, there is no question the trajectory should be down, and it should be down sooner rather than later. Those numbers, those December numbers, are disastrous.
Correct.
And she should accept some responsibility for that because she decided to put them up in October. This was a disastrous decision. I'm not suddenly making this up. I've been saying this consistently for 6 months, as you know, Paul.
Correct.
This was a very bad decision. She should start winding them back now. And that's the trajectory for Labor. If there's optimism for Labor, it's that the economy will begin to grow more as interest rates start to come down over the next 6 or 8 months. And as I said, bank economists said no, that we don't expect this. Absolutely, after those figures today, they're going, oh my goodness, maybe we've just been a little bit too hawkish. So they get to play the game of we don't really care, we're just making a prediction. The Reserve Bank governor has to wear it.
Yeah, and of course now there's this whole system of press conferences and the rest of it.